You may be thinking, it doesn't matter if I don't feel confident, my art will speak for itself. But actually, that's backwards. You have to speak for your art. You're the one that has to advocate for it and put it in front of potential clients. Hello everyone! Welcome to Art Business with Ness. I'm Ness and I'm a children's book illustrator. In this video, we're talking about self-doubt and confidence as an artist. And this isn't just some new age bull about mindset changes and feeling better about yourself. Self-doubt can and does make artists act in such a way that they are stunting their own growth and their career opportunities. So it's a really important topic to address. Let's dive in. But before we start, if you too would like to make a living with your art and you'd like to see more videos like this, then make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit the little bell. The bell sends you a notification every time that I upload a new video, and this way you're sure that you won't miss any of the advice. So let's get started. There are many things that cause artists in general to be very insecure creatures, and I'm speaking from personal experience here. Who's with me? First of all, art is so subjective. It's all a matter of personal taste, and there's no accurate way to measure skill. So we're kind of in limbo, not knowing if we're any good or not. If you were a runner, you could time yourself and know exactly how good you are. And no matter how much self-doubt you have, the numbers don't lie. Seeing a good time could even give you new confidence. But for art, there's no such thing. This often leads artists to look for outside validation so they can tell if they're any good or not. Things like compliments on your art from people around you, and more commonly now, social media. But as you must know by now, likes and follows on social media are an extremely flawed way to judge your worth as an artist. On social media, art that ends up being very popular are things that have mass market appeal or are following trends or challenges, things like that. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's the best art just because it has a lot of likes. And likes don't make a career either, so it's not a very meaningful metric at all. And if you're posting on Instagram right now and you don't have very many likes, it could be for a number of things. It doesn't mean that your art sucks. It could be because you're posting infrequently, not using hashtags, or in general, just using the platform inefficiently. But if you're counting on outside validation from things like social media to tell if you're any good or not, then a lackluster result on Instagram can have devastating effects on your confidence. So what does lack of confidence actually do? How does it harm you? First of all, straight off the bat, a lot of times it makes people just quit. I've known so many artists who try posting their art on Instagram for a year or two, and then if they don't get any traction, by then they decide either that their art sucks and they have no chance at all in this industry, or two, that it's impossible to make it in this industry and they better just quit. So they just stop making art and become an accountant instead. But even for those who decide to stay and stick it out, working with the core, deep-seated belief that you're not very good at all colors every single thing that you do. It can cause lack of motivation, lack of inspiration, or even make you not spend as much time and effort as you should have because subconsciously you don't really think that's actually gonna work. I also see a lot of self-sabotage. Many artists just keep repeating publicly that their art sucks as if they can protect themselves from criticism if they're the ones to say it. It's a self-protection thing. It's as if you're saying, I already know my art is bad, so you can't hurt me by telling me. Here are some examples that I see all the time. 1. I know I'm not very good, but please give me a chance. 2. It's terrible, LOL. Please give me a pity like. 3. I'm still learning, but I hope one day to be good enough to get a contract. The problem here is that saying these sorts of things on your social media or on your website can severely hurt an artist's opportunities. Imagine if an art director sees this on your website. They would think, well, this person doesn't even think they can do a good job, so why would I hire them? So even if you don't feel very confident, you can't say things like that. You have to make an effort to not put yourself down. Not only because it doesn't appear very professional at all, but also because words have power, and the more you repeat that you suck, the more you believe it. So let's talk about some solution. But first of all, let me know, do you struggle with confidence as an artist? What do you experience and how do you personally deal with it? Go in the comments right now and let me know. So the first thing I want to address is that you don't have to be perfect to start. This is a very important mindset shift. and something that will change your entire outlook if you understand it and internalize it. We often think that we need to be perfect at art in order to get likes, followers, to get buyers, or work opportunities. We compare ourselves to the very best in the world, and we think, if I'm not at least that good, then I have no chance of making it. That is a total lie that your brain is telling you. You don't have to be perfect to start. Think about it. What other job out there expects you to be the best in the world on your first day on the job? None. They wouldn't even expect you to be the best in the world after 15 years on the job. The truth is, there is a lot of work out there for artists, and there are opportunities for artists at every level. There are expert level contracts and there are entry level contracts. Like in any industry, you will keep learning and improving throughout all your career, throughout all your life. And that's a good thing. It's a wonderful thing. That's never going to go away. So don't wait until you're perfect just to start your career or just to have confidence in your work. Excuse me? What's going on over there? You can be proud of your work right now, even if it's not perfect. One thing I often see is that artists are reluctant to call themselves an artist or an illustrator. For example, I'm teaching my art business bootcamp right now, and in one lesson I'm explaining how it's important to explain what you do on your website with a job title like, I'm a children's book illustrator. And someone said, I can't call myself a children's book illustrator because I haven't illustrated a book with a publisher yet. And I'm like, says who? And if you think like that, you're not alone. This is something that's very widespread that I see all the time. Artists give themselves some self-imposed limitations, some self-imposed standards that they must meet before they're allowed to call themselves a children's book illustrator or an editorial illustrator, etc. Truth is, there are no such standards. There is no order of illustrator that's going to verify your claims and come strip you of your right if you don't meet certain standards. There's no official certification or otherwise any requirement that you need in order to be considered an illustrator. The only person who can say if you're an illustrator or not is you. Only you can give yourself permission to call yourself an illustrator. Let me ask you this. What happens when you do illustrate a real children's book, but then you're like, it was just self-published, it doesn't count. When a publisher gives me a book, then I can consider myself a real illustrator. But then a publisher does give you a contract and you find yourself thinking, well, that was too easy. If they gave the job to me, it must not have been that difficult in the first place. When a bigger publisher gives me a contract, then I'll be a real illustrator. And so on and so forth. It never stops. This is exactly what happened to me. And it took me at least 4 books before I realized that no amount of external validation is going to give me the confidence that I need. Confidence comes from within. So don't wait. Call yourself an illustrator today, even if it feels weird at first. Practice makes perfect. Say it until it doesn't feel weird anymore. Go over your website and social media and remove any self-depreciating remarks that you see on there. Those things, they are actively mining your confidence. It's not professional and it's not cute. Make a habit of not saying these things anymore. Replace them with more positive statements and fake it until you make it. The last thing I want to talk about is fear of rejection. This stops many artists from sending out their portfolio, applying for jobs, or chasing the opportunities that they want. Sometimes fear of rejection can look a lot like procrastination or like endlessly working on your portfolio. If you find yourself thinking, I still need more practice, but when I get better, then I'll send my portfolio to art directors, then maybe you're procrastinating because you're afraid. Truth is, most artists wait too long. They end up waiting way after they would have been ready just because they're afraid of rejection. Sending out your portfolio can really be scary, but it does get easier every single time that you do it. That first time, you just have to take the plunge and it will suck, but here are some tips that can help. First of all, change your expectation. Instead of having the expectation of getting a contract out of this, make your goal simply to send out your portfolio. That's already such a big step, and you need to practice in sending out your work. So just by sending it out, you've already accomplished something. Now, if you get a contract out of it, then that's a nice bonus. The second thing is realizing that rejection is not the end of the world. Sometimes it truly baffles me how we're all so scared of rejection. When you think about it, what's so scary about it? Worst thing that can happen is they say no, and then you haven't lost anything. Not even an opportunity, because you can still make new work and send out your portfolio again to that same person. In fact, you can send your portfolio to the same place as much as 3 or 4 times a year. After I got a few rejection, I started realizing just how little it actually affects my bottom line. There are endless other companies to apply to. Some of them will say yes, some of them would say no. It's a numbers game, and you have to get those rejections to get those acceptance. When you think about it this way, it takes some of the fear off and can give you the confidence to just go for it and see what happens. So these were my thoughts about self-doubt and confidence as an artist. Now, if this video has inspired you and you too would like to take the plunge and start contacting clients, I have a free guide that you might enjoy. It's called 7 Surprising Ways to Find Clients. It's completely free, and I will leave the link to that in the description below. So that's it for this video. I really hope that you enjoyed it, and if you did, then don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to help our small channel grow. Thank you so much for your support and for being here today. I really appreciate it. And I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye!